n8n has been exploding in popularity lately. If you search on YouTube, there are millions of people looking for tutorials. But how does it really compare to Zapier, the most well-known automation platform? In this video, we'll walk through both tools step by step. That way, you can see exactly how they work. We'll build the exact same workflow, and along the way, I'll point out where Zapier makes things easier and where n8n gives you more flexibility. By the end, you'll know which one is the best for you, whether you're just getting started with automation, or maybe you're just curious about how these tools stack up in 2025. Hi, I'm Kevin, and let's dive in. So, what exactly are these tools? Zapier and n8n are what's called workflow automation platforms. In simple terms, they connect all of the apps that you already use. Think Gmail, Google Sheets, Slack, YouTube, even AI tools, so they work together automatically. Let's take an example. Let's say someone fills out a form on your website. A workflow automation platform could take that info from the form and bring it over to Google Sheets, send you a Slack message, and even draft a welcome email without you doing anything. The ultimate goal is to replace manual, repetitive tasks with automated workflows. Zapier has been around for more than a decade, and it's known for being very beginner-friendly. They have over 8,000 ready-to-use integrations. n8n, on the other hand, is newer, but it's been getting a lot of attention, especially for more technical users who like the control of hosting it themselves. So, in this video, we're going to build the same workflow in both Zapier and n8n, and that way you can see how they stack up on ease of use, speed to value, and where one might make more sense than the other. All right, let's start by building this workflow in Zapier. You'll find a link right down below to get started. I partnered with them to show you how this works. Here's the goal. Whenever I upload a new video to YouTube, I want AI to automatically write a LinkedIn post and then publish it for me. This is something that I usually do manually. Let's see if we can automate this. In Zapier, this is really straightforward. Right here at the top of the page, I have a Copilot prompt box, which makes building automations even easier. Instead of manually picking each app and trigger, I simply describe what I want. So right in here, I'll enter in when I upload a new video to YouTube, draft a LinkedIn post with Zapier AI, and then publish it to my personal profile. Now that I've entered in my prompt, let's send that. Right here, I can see that Zapier understands what I mean, and it instantly creates the outline of the workflow for me. Right up on top, I can see YouTube as the trigger. Next up, we have an AI agent generate the post. And lastly, we have LinkedIn as the final action. This all looks good to me, so down below, let's continue with the Zap editor. This opens up the Zap editor, and I can see my full workflow right up on top. Upload a video, generate a post with AI, and then publish to LinkedIn. All I need to do now is connect my accounts, and Zapier handles the rest. Let's start by clicking on YouTube right here, and over on the right-hand side, I'll need to sign in. Right over here, I could click on sign in, and this opens up my Google account. Now, one thing I love here is that Zapier has pre-built integration, so there's no messing with API tokens or manual setup. So here, I'll click on my account and then continue. With over 8,000 integrations maintained automatically, I don't have to worry about my workflow breaking when YouTube updates their API. It just works. In the bottom right, let's click on continue. Here, I need to provide the channel ID for my YouTube channel. Head to the URL that you see down at the bottom of the screen, and right here, I see my channel ID. I'll copy that and go back to Zapier right up above. I'll paste that in, and then let's continue and finish the required fields. Here, let's now test the trigger. This is what will kick off our workflow. Here, it looks like it found a recent video. Let's click into this, and here I can see all of the details. It looks like it's a video about the Employee Benefits Handbook. That's perfect. And right here, let's continue with the selected record. This brings us to the AI step, and for this, I'm using AI by Zapier. The nice part is I don't need to set up an OpenAI or Claude API key or host anything myself. Right down here, let's click on continue. At the very top, we can choose the provider, and we have a few different options. I'll go with OpenAI. Then here we see all the different OpenAI models that we could choose from, and we have a whole host of different options. I'll stick with the default. Here we see what data we're getting back from YouTube, and most importantly for AI, we also have a pre-written prompt. And keep in mind, I didn't enter any of this in. Zapier automatically generated this. And honestly, I think this looks really good. It even inputs the data that we get back from YouTube as part of the prompt. That's pretty cool. And here, if we go down, we see that we get some output data back, or basically the LinkedIn post. Now, this all looks great. So down below, let's click on continue. On this last screen, right here, I can see the provider as well as the instructions that include the last uploaded video on my YouTube channel. This all looks great, so let's test it out. Right up above, I can see the data that we get back from the AI step. Here we have a beautifully written LinkedIn post, and it even includes a link to the video on YouTube. This looks great. So down below, let's click on continue. As a last step, I need to connect my LinkedIn account. So right up above, I'll click on sign in. Down below, let's click on continue. Here, I need to specify what I would like to post on LinkedIn. And it looks like nothing here is filled out. So right up above, let's see if Copilot can help with this. I'll click on this icon in the top right, and let's try this. And just like that, all the required fields are filled in. Right up here, the AI-generated LinkedIn post becomes the comment. Visibility right here is set to everyone, and all the video details are shared automatically. Done. At the bottom, let's click on continue. Now, all we have to do is test it out. Let's click test step. It looks like it published to LinkedIn. Let's check it out. Perfect. Would you look at that? It works just as I expected to. And that was really easy. There was no coding and everything was pre-built. I just had to type in what I wanted and log into a few different services. Now, I have a working automation in just a few clicks that helps me save time whenever I publish a video. Let's now jump back into Zapier. Now, if I want to add other services like, let's say, Instagram, I could keep refining this flow with Copilot. Right down here, I simply ask it to add another step. Now, let's talk briefly about pricing, and this is one of the key differences between Zapier and n8n. Zapier charges by each individual task, not the overall workflow or the zap. That means I can build lots of small, useful automations just like this one, and I'm not penalized. On n8n, even a simple 3-step workflow, just like this one, is priced the same as a 100-step workflow. Now, let's try to build the exact same workflow in n8n. And the goal is the same. When I upload a new video to YouTube, I want AI to write a LinkedIn post and then publish it. To get started with n8n, head to the following website. And once you land here, up on top, let's click on pricing to look at the different available plans. Now, n8n offers both a cloud service, which you'll see here, and if we scroll down a little bit, they also have a self-hosted option. Now, most of their community and user forums highlight self-hosting as their big differentiator. That way you get cost savings and also more control. We're going to walk through what that setup looks like using Docker. I'll click on View Docs, and right here, if you don't have Docker yet, you can install it. I'll click on the installation guide, and if we scroll down a little bit, here we see the option for Docker Desktop. I'll click on that. Then choose your operating system and run through the installation process. I happen to be using Windows, so I'll select this option, and here x86 64. If it asks you to enable WSL or Windows Subsystem for Linux, make sure to enable it. Once you finish restarting, down below on the taskbar, type in CMD and then launch Command Prompt. Within Command Prompt, we're going to enter in 2 different commands. You'll find them down below in the description. First off, docker volume create n8n data. This is the storage that keeps all of your n8n workflows and settings. Once you enter that in, press enter. Next, enter in the following command. This is the one that runs n8n. Once you finish typing that in, press enter. And it looks like it completed successfully. Down below, copy this address and paste it into your web browser to launch n8n. Now, set up an account, and I'll see you on the other side. This drops us into the main n8n dashboard, and one of the things you might notice is I don't have a Copilot prompt like we did in Zapier. Instead, I need to manually build out my workflow step by step. In the top right-hand corner, let's click on Create Workflow. This opens up the workflow editor. To add our first step, I'll click on this big plus icon, and over on the right-hand side, I need to choose a trigger. At the very top, let's search for YouTube, and there it is. I'll click on this. You'll notice right here at the top that there isn't a built-in trigger for new video uploaded. Instead, we'll combine two steps. Here we have a schedule trigger. I'll click on that. And then later, we'll also add a YouTube node. Right over here, I could define how often it should check for new videos. So here, I'll set it to once a day, and then let's click out of this. Now that we have our trigger, let's click into the YouTube node. At the very top, you'll see that we need to provide credentials to connect n8n to YouTube. And you'll notice that it's a little bit more complicated than Zapier. Zapier handles all the behind-the-scenes setup with Google, or YouTube in this case. In n8n, you're the one acting as a developer. That means you'll need to go into Google's developer portal and create your own connection. It's more work up front, but you get more control if that's what you want. I'll link to instructions that show you how to do that down below in the description. And in the meantime, I'll go ahead and fill all this out, and then we'll continue on. Here, we need to configure some of the different parameters. I want to get videos back. So right in this list, let's choose video. Then right down here, I could also set the limit for how many videos I would like to get back. Let's set it to 5 because I'm not anticipating publishing that many videos each day. Then right up on top, we can now execute the step to test if it's working as we expect it to. Now, over on the left-hand side, here I can see the input from the trigger. And over on the right-hand side, I can see that it successfully fetched a video back from YouTube. If I scroll over, here's that employee benefits handbook with the description and all the other details related to the video. Now that we're done configuring this step, let's click out right up here. Right now, it's set to fetch the last 5 videos, even if they're weeks or months old. If we leave it this way, the same videos will get pulled again and again. To fix that, we need a filter so it only includes videos from the past 24 hours. The first step is to add a date and time node to generate a cutoff timestamp, basically now minus 24 hours. This will give us a rolling window to check if any new videos are new since the last run. To do that, let's click on this plus icon, and right up above, let's search for date and time. And here I see a node. I'll click on this one. And on this list, let's go down to the very bottom option that says subtract from a date. I'll click here. Now, I want to make sure that I'm only pulling videos from the last 24 hours. Right up on top, I want to subtract 1 day from the current time. Now, n8n gives me a handy variable called now. Over here, I'll type that in, and I need to set it to an expression. And over here, we could see the current date and time. Now, I want to subtract 24 hours from it, or 1 day. So down below, I'll type in 1 into the duration. By subtracting 24 hours from it, I'll get a timestamp I can use later to filter out any older videos. For the output field name, I'll type in cutoff time, and right up above, we can now test it. I'll type in execute step, and here we can see yesterday's date at the current time. That's exactly what I want. Right up above, let's now click out of this view. After that, we're going to use an if node. We're going to compare each video's published at field against my cutoff. Right down below, I'll click on this plus icon, and let's search for a node titled if. And right down here, I'll click on that option. I want to check if any of my videos are newer than the cutoff time, and if so, then I'll publish a post on LinkedIn. If not, well, then the flow will just stop. So over here, we need to first off fill in value number 1, and I want that to be the video's published time. Over on the left-hand side, I can see all the different inputs. I'll expand this category, and here I see an option for the published time for the video. I'll press and hold on this and drag this over into value 1. Now, I want to compare this to the cutoff time. I'll click on this dropdown, and here let's go down to the date and time category, and I could check if it's after my cutoff time. So here, I'll select is after. Now, I want to compare it to the cutoff time, so I'll click into value 2, and over on the left-hand side, here I see the cutoff time under the date and time node. I'll press and hold on this and drag it over to value 2. So now I'm comparing both of these. Let's click on execute step to see if there are any videos that are newer than the cutoff. Here, it looks like there's one video that's newer than the cutoff, and there are 2 videos that are older than the cutoff. That's exactly what I was expecting, so let's click out of this node. Let's now scroll over using the middle mouse so we can see more of the workflow. Right down below here, I see the if node, and I see the true path and the false path. I'm going to leave the false path as is, basically meaning that nothing else will happen. For the true path, though, I want to make sure that we post to LinkedIn. So let's click on this plus icon. To be able to post to LinkedIn, I need to first write the post, and we're going to use AI to do that. At the very top of the list, I see the option for AI. I'll click on that, and then I can choose which provider I would like to use. For this, I'm going to use Google Gemini. I'll click here. I'd like to write a post, which is a text action. So right down here, I'll select message a model. First, we need to select a credential. I'll click right here. This is essentially an API key that lets n8n talk to Gemini and run prompts through the model. I've included instructions down below that'll walk through how to do this. In the meantime, I'll get the API key and I'll see you again once it's done. Now that I've entered my API key, the next step is to choose a model. And we have lots of different options here, but I'll go with Gemini 2.5 Flash since it's fast and also lightweight. After that, we also need to provide a prompt. Over here, I'll set it to expression and I'll paste in my prompt. Now, this is what the model will respond to. We can also enrich the prompt by feeding in details about the video. So think of things like the title, description, and even the URL. That way the output's more relevant. Let's scroll up, and here I've included a spot for the video title. Now, over on the left-hand side, I can see all of the input from the prior nodes in the workflow. And right here, I see the title. I could simply press and hold on that, and here I could drag it into the prompt. I'll do the same for the description. Here, I'll drag and drop it into the description. Now, for the URL, I need to include the video ID at the end. So over here, I see video ID. So here, I'll press and hold and drag that over. And there too, that's now included in the prompt. This all now looks good. So up on top, let's test it out. Let's click on Execute Step. Over on the right-hand side, I can see the AI's output. This looks solid. It generated a clean LinkedIn post with the details I provided. If I want to refine it, I can always go back and tweak the prompt and then run it again. But for now, this output works well. Now here again, Zapier had AI agents built in. In n8n, I had to go to Google Cloud, enable Gemini, create an API key, and then configure it here. So it took a few more steps to get this working. Right up on top, let's now click out of this. Finally, let's add one more node to post to LinkedIn. I'll click on this plus icon, and then up on top, I'll search for LinkedIn. Then let's click on this option, and let's then select Create a Post. At the very top, we'll need to select a credential to connect to LinkedIn. Now, this one's quite involved, and it includes quite a bit of setup. You'll have to create a LinkedIn developer app, configure OAuth credentials, add redirect URIs, request the right scopes, and paste your client ID and secret into n8n. Then you'll be able to connect to LinkedIn. I've included instructions down below in the description. I'll fill out this information, and then I'll see you on the other side. Here, I'll select my LinkedIn account. I'll post as Kevin Stratvert. For the text, I'll pull in the AI output that we just generated with Gemini. So here, I'll click into this, and over on the left-hand side, here I see all of the different input. And here I see the text that Gemini generated. I'll press and hold on this and then drag this over into the text. You'll notice that it automatically changes it to an expression. This now looks good. So up on top, let's try executing this step. I'll click here. And there it has successfully posted to LinkedIn. Let's go to LinkedIn to check. And look at that, it works. But you can see how much more technical setup and wiring is required compared to Zapier's describe what you want and it just works approach. I had to wire up each integration, bring my own API keys, and configure everything manually. Here's another thing to keep in mind. Since I'm self-hosting n8n, I'm also responsible for scaling, security patches, and keeping it running 24/7. So while n8n gives you flexibility and control, it requires much more technical setup and ongoing management. Now, for most beginners or even teams who just want something that works right away, personally, I think Zapier is much faster and easier. It's also worth mentioning pricing. For many years, users favored n8n as the cheaper option. And that could still be true if you stay within their entry-level community edition. But once you factor in the infrastructure, patching, scaling, and also the security that you take on with self-hosting, the total cost of ownership typically tilts in Zapier's favor, especially for teams or enterprises. On top of that, on August 7th, 2025, n8n introduced a pricing change that charges per workflow execution, even for self-hosting on your own hardware. Now, for many in the community, this added an unexpected, what they call success tax, that makes scaling more expensive than it might at first appear. So what's the takeaway? Well, both Zapier and n8n can handle this workflow. But as we just saw, the experience is completely different. With Zapier, I typed one sentence into Copilot and I had a working automation in just minutes. With n8n, I had to chain together a schedule, fetch videos, build cutoff logic, connect an external AI model, and set up a LinkedIn developer app just to publish that post. Now, if you're a developer who loves tinkering, you'll probably like that extra flexibility. But for most beginners, business teams, and also enterprises, Zapier is a clear choice. It's easier, faster, more secure, and often cheaper when you factor in all of those hidden costs of servers and setup time. And that's Zapier versus n8n in 2025. Zapier is built for speed and simplicity, and n8n gives you more control if you don't mind that complexity. Now, if you want to try either one, you'll find links right down below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to subscribe for more tutorials like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.